I'm going in search of witches.
Witches.
Witches. I guess you found me out, huh? Yeah. You should come around here on Halloween. You'd really see something then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we all jump off the roof and fly.
You know, sort of like a coven. You have placed Fester under some strange sexual spell.
At what time will we be spellcasting?
Hey there, witches, and welcome to Moonstone Witchery, the podcast where we talk about witchcraft and spirituality in a modern context. My name is Rianne Locker, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. I am on a roll with the podcast. Let's not talk about it too much, like quietly say it, knock on some wood. There you go. Okay. So this might be a little potpourri of witchiness because I do have several things I want to chat about, and I think it would be helpful because sometimes I get repeated questions. The whole reason I started this podcast was because I was getting a lot of the same questions from people in my DMs on Instagram back in the day, and I just wanted them to have like a really full answer. And sometimes I couldn't sit there and like type out or voice memo a full answer. So I just recorded a bunch of episodes and it's kind of just gone on from there, which is really dope. So this is one question that we get asked a lot. So I figured time for me to record an answer, and I want to keep things pretty witchy. So this is a witchy sort of topic. The topic I'm talking about is spiritually safe sleep, or like, what do we do about our sleep scenarios, right? Because a lot of people struggle with a lot of things that have to do with our sleep spaces. And there's like such a beautiful array of information that I can offer to you here on this topic. So I figured, you know what? I think there's enough for a whole episode. And if not, I totally have a rabbit hole that I can like take us down into if we need to go that route. So the first thing I want to talk about is warding our spaces. And, to ward means to protect. It's to set up protection methods so that we are warded, we are guarded, we are barriered from things that we don't want to have happen. Now, typically, tangible wards are things like locks on your doors and fences around your property and security cameras and security systems and dogs that bark and all of those kinds of things. But when we're talking about sleep and we're talking about the paranormal or energetic beings or like bad vibes or whatever, those are intangible, energetic, spiritual kinds of things, right? So our wards will also have to have an intangible component to themselves. If we're warding on the physical plane, we need a lot of physical wards. If we're warding on the energy plane, we need a lot of energetic wards. Sometimes those things overlap and sometimes they don't. So one way that those things can overlap is if you enchant or charm the lock on your front door. So now it's both a tangible lock that keeps the door closed, and it's also an energetic lock that keeps the door closed. So when we're thinking about this, I want you to try to figure out, like, what are the things that I'm scared of in my sleep? Or what are the things that happen when I'm sleeping that are feeling like they're invasive or feeling like they're invading my space, right? And how can I go ahead and ward myself, protect myself from those on the energy plane, and obviously if you need to on the physical plane. One thing I talk about a lot in my posts about our sleep scenario is warding your room. And so warding can be like the most, you all. Like it's like spring cleaning or like organizing or whatever. Like, you feel better when you do it. You know that it's necessary. You know that it's helpful. However, it feels like work, and that's kind of annoying. And you feel like, well, maybe I don't need to do it right now, or maybe I can put it off, or maybe whatever. But then what happens to us is like a bunch of stuff starts going haywire, or chaotic or crazy or whatever. And we don't know why, because we don't ever connect those dots, do we? We don't ever go, oh, I was like feeling like I needed to like reset my wards and now everything's like chaos and I shouldn't have actually put it off like I did. We just kind of are like, what is wrong? And like, what am I doing wrong? And like, why is my life like this? And blah, 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 blah. And so I want us to actually take the time to ward. So if we were to do this in the right order, we would cleanse our home pretty deeply. Smoke cleanse, resin cleanse, spray the space with salt water, whatever it is you typically do, ring a bunch of bells. Cleanse your home, because what you want to do first is like drive out the energy that you might need protecting from. Like that unto itself, cleansing is a form of protecting. Okay, because when we're cleansing, we're removing. So when you're ever doing any protection work, cleansing is an important part of that, because we're taking away, and the cleansing alone could do all the things that we need. Now, we need to like cleanse and then shut and lock the door, because if we kick a bunch of bad vibes out, we don't want to just leave the door open so they can come back in, right? And so we're going to cleanse your space. If you're just dealing with one bedroom or whatever, cleanse your room. Additionally speaking, y'all are going to hate me for this sentence, cleansing also means cleaning. Because sometimes we have energy stuck in places where energy accumulates. And if there's a bunch of stuff in a pile, that's a little pile of stuff, but it's also a little pile of energy. So we want to clean that up. Think of like your home as like its own entity. It's a body, and this is kind of creepy, but like you're living inside this body, right? Like you're in its organs, and the energy, the spirit of the home really wants to flow freely through itself. The energy of the home wants to be unencumbered. It wants to just like breathe and go wherever it wants. It wants there to be an ease about that energy movement in your home. A lot of clutter or boxes or like old things that you don't want anymore, don't connect to anymore, don't resonate for you anymore. Well, they're creating blockages for that flow of energy inside your home. Just like how your body can have blockages based on your emotional space, your trauma, like whatever's going on with you. These are blockages inside your home. So cleaning your home is also an important part of cleansing the energy of the home. Okay. And I'm not sitting here in some type of perfect house. Like I get it. All right. Like I totally, like right now you should see my, this desk I'm looking at. It's like ADHD chaos over there. But when I do get inspired, like on Sundays, I'll like make it nice. Okay, that's all we can do. Like we got to do our best. But I really went through this whole thing recently of getting rid of, full stop, like getting rid of things that don't serve me, whatever that means, because that's like one of those phrases that's lost all meaning, but getting rid of things that don't serve me, things that don't enhance my life, like whatever that lady was who was like, does it bring you joy? No, like throw it into the pit. Like that's the vibe, okay? And then I was like redistributing my energy. Like I was reorganizing. I was moving things around according to how they felt and where they needed to go. I was like hanging things on my walls. Like I was very intentional. Well, myself and my wife were very intentional with what we were doing and why, because the energy was feeling stagnant. It was feeling stuck. It wasn't moving. So I want you to really think about this, and like cleaning along with cleansing goes really far. Now, don't turn off the podcast. I'm not going to talk about cleaning anymore. You can totally ignore that part if you choose to. I just know it will make a big difference if you consider doing it. And you can do it in small steps, like tackling one area at a time. Getting like your nightstand drawer like cleaned out is a big effing deal. So congratulations to you if you can do that. And I want you to see these things as big deals, because they really, truly are. Okay. So you want to cleanse your space. Then you want to ward your space. So after you cleanse your space, get into your bedroom, or like people were asking me about warding their children's rooms. It's all going to be the same principles, okay? Get into your bedroom or whatever bedroom you're dealing with, and I want you to extra talk to the room. People don't talk to their houses enough. when you live in a house, like I was just talking about, your house in a way is alive because it is a container of life, and all containers of life are living in some way. Your house has its own energetic footprint, it has its own energetic energy, it has its own vibe, it has its own like feeling about itself. And one thing I really like to tell people to do is like get into their entryway, sit on the floor if you can. If you're not able to sit on the floor, drag a chair on over and sit in the entryway and put your hand on the door or the wall of the entryway and introduce yourself to your home. You can ask the home what its name is or what it prefers to be called. You can let it know, like, I'm going to come live here with you. Now, only say these things if you mean them, but like, my intention is to care for you, to keep you properly maintained, to like love you, to decorate you, to fill you with like joy and life and whatever good energy. And I'd like to request of you that you, number one, let me know when you need something in a way that is not damaging. And number two, that you also work with me to provide protection and to help keep the energy positive and uplifted, and that you like nurture us in the same way we wish to nurture you. I'm entering into this like beautiful relationship with you, and I can't wait to like see where it goes. Like, this is the kind of stuff I want you to say to your house. And every once in a while, I want you to lay your hands on your house and talk to it and check in and see how it's doing. And so when you're going to start warding, I want you to kind of inform the house of what you're doing so it can opt in to helping you. And then I want you to also see if like the house has any suggestions for you on like things that you need to do differently. Because like, what if it's true? What if everything has its own innate energy footprint? So it exists here tangibly, but it also exists like astrally. And what if you can communicate with that energy footprint and you just haven't been? Because there's nothing lost from trying to do it or doing it and just trusting what you get. Because if it's not really talking to you, whatever, you're like still doing good things. And if it is really talking to you, then you have respected this like magical space that like your whole life exists in, So talk to your house, tell it you're going to cleanse, that you're going to ward, and that specifically your biggest concern is like when you guys are all asleep, when everybody in the home is sleeping or anybody in the home is sleeping, can the house work with you to protect your energy? Can it keep out like paranormal, creepy weirdos? Can it keep out like any divergent spirits or earthbound energies? Or like, can it keep out anybody's bad mood that they dragged into the house? Like, bad moods are not invited. And so the house's door can become like a portal that transmutes energy, especially if you put black tourmaline and selenite above or near that door. Or if you have any kind of like salt on the threshold, or I have black knights standing by my door, like these little carved wood guys. Well, they're not actually even little. They're like 2 feet tall, but like these little black carved wood guys that stand by my door, and they are enchanted for protection, and they clear the energy of anybody who walks by them. So think like that. Then what you're going to do is be in your room, and I want you to get 4 pieces of black tourmaline. Now, you don't have to have black tourmaline. It can be obsidian. It can be black kyanite. It can be, smoky quartz even. It can be hematite. It can be red jasper. Whatever kinds of crystals you like to use for protection. Tourmalated quartz might be a good one because it still has that quartz component that's not too grounding. But I mean, for me specifically, if you struggle with sleep, grounding crystals under your mattress are going to be super helpful. And that's where I want you to put them. I want you to put 1 black tourmaline crystal under the corner of each corner of your mattress. And I want you to instruct them to create a grid of protection that encompasses the whole bed. And you're going to say things like, anytime I'm in this bed, I am protected. This grid of protection helps me. Like, it keeps me spiritually and energetically and physically safe. It keeps me safe in my dream space, and it keeps me safe whenever I'm in this bed. And you'll activate those. You can tap them with selenite or a piece of quartz. If you want it to like be perpetual, you can put clear quartz next to the black tourmaline, and then the grid won't need any cleansing or clearing because the clear quartz can go ahead and do that for you. After that, I do want you to either put a salt perimeter around your bed or just around the room in general. You can sweep or vacuum it up after like maybe give it like a day or two to like go ahead and do that. And additionally, you can spray the room with a salt water spray. Like you mix up salt and water, you hold your hands over it or stir it with some intentions, and you tell it like it's there to keep you safe, especially in the sleepy dream realm, and it's there to protect your energy. Then what you're going to do is, like I said, spray it around your room, put a salt perimeter under your bed or around your bed. If you are feeling a little extra about this, you can place a bowl of salt underneath where each person in your bed sleeps. So if you have 2 people in the one bed, underneath each of them, a little bowl of salt can go, and that will, number one, draw out any negative energy that you happen to be holding in your body while you're sleeping. It'll go into that salt. And number two, it will emanate like a force field that is like kind of like a vacuum of bad energy, and anything that tries to approach you in your sleep will sort of get that energy sucked into that salt. Okay, so that's a really helpful little tidbit of information as well. You might want to change that salt like once in a while, maybe like once a month or something, because if you have a high humidity space, that salt will get pretty hard and like crumbly. But also, it's just good to sort of change it out. If you have animals and you don't want them like under your bed, like eating salt, which is valid, you can figure out like a clever kind of way to put it down there, but have it be protected. Like, I don't know. The only thing I'm thinking about is like those little like cages we put over like fish tanks and stuff. But I'm sure you can come up with something clever that will hold the salt and kind of keep it away from animals. If you don't want it under the bed, you can put it on a nightstand or something right next to your bed as well. It'll work just as effectively. Next thing I want us to do is light a protection candle in the room where we are sleeping. Okay, so you're going to do a protection spell. You're going to carve that candle or write on the glass jar, because you can use novena candles for this, black ones or pre-spelled ones for protection. Write on that candle, either by carving or with marker, a protection spell that is kind of like, this space is spiritually safe. Nothing negative or harmful may enter this space. No paranormal beings, no astral beings that seek to drain me of my energy or that will cause me harm, whether accidentally on purpose, just things like that. Like, set the terms for what it is that you want this space to feel like. This space will only hold positive energy. This space will only be a sanctuary. This space is a safe portal to the astral plane. I mean, I don't know if we want to go that deep about it, because that might be a whole bunch of shit. But, you know, like, just sort of tell it what it is that you are wanting it to do and light that candle. Now, if you have the glass jar candle, you can let that burn for a couple hours and then snuff it out and re-burn it when you need it or want it or feel like it needs a boost of some kind. I do want you to let it burn. See, really, my actual recommendation for it is to let it burn for 6 hours. You'll still have candle left. At least do the 6 hours the first time you do it. You can't leave it like alone, really. You don't want to leave it lit while you're sleeping. Fire safety is a thing. Those glass jar candles, they get really hot. The glass gets really hot. So wherever you put it, you don't really want to move it unless you have like a pot glove or something on your hands, one of those heavy duty ones that will protect you from being burned. But you want to spell the room, and you can use a taper candle for this. I mean, I know everyone's like really into chime candles, and like that's cool and everything, and like if that's all you've got, like that's fine. But if you have the option of a full like 10-inch taper, I want you to use that, because this is a big job. This is a big ask. It's creating a whole like blanket of protection for you half of the day. Well, I don't know who's getting 12 hours of sleep. I mean, I don't even know who's getting 8 hours of sleep, but it's creating a blanket of protection for you for a pretty large chunk of time in perpetuity, which just means, you know, like permanently. So a big candle is more helpful. And don't feel weird if you're starting to be like, ew, it's getting sort of strange in here. I think I need to redo the spell. It doesn't mean the spell failed. It means like the spell was used a lot and you might need to boost it by doing another one. Okay. Oh, sidebar. Okay, we got to talk about this for a second. People really talk to me about this because on one of my early episodes, I talked about don't break your own spell work. And I was saying, like, don't do the same spell multiple times because that's every time you're doing that, you're kind of like, I don't trust this spell. I'm like, going to do it again just to double, triple make sure that it actually happens. And what my point was with that was like, the exact same spell within like a week of like doing it before, or like 2 weeks of doing it before, even maybe a month of doing it before. But it's not coming from a place of like, I'm going to boost this spell because I know it's working. It's coming from a place of like, oh my God, panic. Did I do it? Let me do it again. It's like when you are really pressed about something and you are like making the same phone call 14 times just because no one's answering you right away. That's the vibe that I'm talking about. Like, it's impatience and anxiety. I don't want you repeating your same spells due to impatience and anxiety. That's the thing that's robbing energy. Impatience robs energy from somebody else. It just does. I'm not patient enough to wait for the energy to align, so I'm going to force my will. Impatience is somewhat of a spell. I'm going to force my will upon somebody and force them to answer me. Okay? That is an invasive kind of energy that is birthed from anxiety and worry. So we don't want that, right? Anxiety, when it's in charge, operates from a place of distrust. Okay? So if I'm anxious, I'm not trusting that everything's going to be okay. And if you're attacking spell work with impatience and anxiety, you are not trusting any of the stuff that you're doing. And when we operate from that place, when we're making requests of the universe, like, you are dismantling your spell work. That's the vibe. Like, that's what I'm saying. Don't repeat spells. If you have done a spell and you have set it and forget it and are detached and are just like thrilled, or like waiting and you're fine, but like you're sensing, like your spidey senses are tingling and you're kind of like, I think it needs a boost. Yo, go ahead and do your boost. Like, that's a whole different energy. That's actually coming from trust and clarity. Like, you are like, I am reading the energy. I know what it is saying. I clearly want to add some more oomph to this spell. I'ma do it. It's not coming from the same place. As with all things witchy, like, your intention, like the vibe that you are starting off with, it's super more important than like literally anything else, any other component of the situation. Okay, so don't panic about repeating spell work, provided that you are aware that you're coming from a solid space in yourself and not like a begging, pleading, desperate place of not trusting and not aligning. Because that's what I was sort of talking about. Not even sort of, that's what I was talking about on that previous episode that kind of really like freaked some people out, where they were like, oh no, I don't want to ever do the same spell again. Like, no, that's not what I mean. All right, so light your candle, spell your space. If it starts to feel like it needs to be done again, just do it again. Your tote's fine. Like, you're good. So far we have cleansed and cleaned. We have warded the mattress with our crystals. We have put out some salt. We have lit a candle spelled to spell the room and tell the room how the energy is going to be. You can place your hand on the wall of your room and you can talk to it and be like, hey, at nighttime when I'm sleepy, like, please like boost the protection vibes in here. And all of that is really good. You can burn dragon's blood incense every night before you fall asleep as a cute little bedtime ritual. And as you do it, now I really love this, so hang in here with me because I've been experimenting with this for a long time. The premise in my brain was like, okay, if we light candles and they turn into energy and that's how spells get dispatched, well, we light incense and it turns into energy, so why can't spells get dispatched that way? And instead of really dispatching spells with incense, because I really like to put my wordy words on there, I like to like be very clarified, I like to set up, it's like a whole show, I just sort of infuse my incense with intentions now, and it makes such a big difference, especially if you can get aligned incense. So, I'm obsessed with the money drawing incense. They have it on Amazon. It's super cheap. It's by HEB and it's the best. But any kind of incense you can infuse intention with. Dragon's blood was my suggestion because it's a really great, powerful incense that has protective qualities. I mean, you could also use frankincense. It's not my favorite scent, but it's fine. I use it all the time. Don't hate on me for saying I don't love the frankincense fragrance, but that's okay. But go ahead and infuse an incense that is aligned with the vibe you're trying to set, with the intention as this incense burns, the protection in this room increases and it is maintained throughout the whole night while I am sleeping, something along those lines. You can also, and I do recommend that you seal the mirrors in your room. You honestly, if you want to know my real truth on this, I'd love for you to seal all the mirrors in your house, because I don't know what's up with mirrors, friends, but mirrors are a little bit weird. You can take a piece of black tourmaline or a piece of selenite. You want to draw a circle on it that is counterclockwise. As you do so, you say words to it and you repeat these words to it that are this mirror is sealed, nothing may enter or leave via the avenue of this mirror. Blessed be, and so it is so. Short and sweet, but nothing can come and go. This is not a door. This is not a portal. This is not a way to jump between realms. None of that's happening here in my space. Use a different mirror, friend. That's essentially the vibe. I am also really partial to putting protection oil on my mirrors. You could even use a binding oil or something along those lines to kind of restrict it from opening. But I put protection oil on there and then, let it sit there for a day or so. It'll look all weird. And then you can just kind of wipe it off the next day with just a paper towel and water. The best way to clean a mirror is just water. It doesn't leave streaks or anything. You just kind of get a rag or a paper towel or a regular towel or whatever you want. Just get it wet and wash that mirror, and it's perfection. So you can do that because the essence of the oil has made itself known and has been amplified by the mirror itself. But you'll notice that I sealed it with the black tourmaline first, so that there is no access, there is no doorway that reflected oil can come back in the opposite or anything like that, okay? I do know some people who kind of cover their mirrors when they're sleeping or in general. I am not that extra. I'm not really living that life. I have heard that you're not supposed to sleep directly across from a mirror. I would say the caveat to that is you're not supposed to sleep directly across from a open mirror, a non-sealed mirror. But if you only have certain configurations in your life that you can do in your space, don't worry about it too much. Seal your mirrors and live your life. You will be okay. All right. So you want to seal your mirrors. You want to do the protection ritual. Once in a while, you can spray them with salt water and let them be, and then kind of just buff it later. Whatever it is, you want to go ahead and keep those spaces safe. And I know a lot of bedrooms have a lot of mirrors in them. So it's pretty important to do this part. The last thing I think is really helpful is sigil work. Now, a sigil is a magical symbol that is created by combining the consonants of a spell that you are writing or a command that you are giving or an energy that you are creating into a unique shape. I taught sigils, I think it was my first class in the Witchcraft Academy. I can teach you sigils over in the academy, and you can learn how to create your own sigils, or you can just do some research and figure it out for yourself. But what you're really trying to do, and they have pre-made sigils that you can access out in the world. You want one that is going to be protection during sleep, right? And so you could create or find one that does this. And then I highly recommend painting the wall above your bed with some salt water and a paintbrush and drawing that sigil. I did send out a box in the Witchy subscription box a couple months ago that came with this really dope paint that I got from Rhiannon Gomez from Off Grid Mermaid. She makes her own paints by literally crushing crystals for the pigment of the paint, you guys. And she was using bioluminescence to create this sigil paint that is invisible during the day, but it is glow in the dark at night because it is like a UV reactive or something. It absorbs the light and then it glows at night. This is the coolest thing ever because you'll be sitting there regular doing your life during the day, totally forgetting about, not thinking about this sigil. And then at night it will glow and you will see it. And you can put it over your bed. You can put it down at the wall that you look at the foot of your bed. You can put it on the wall behind your head, like the ceiling, wherever you want. But I do want you to have protection sigils on your wall. So either using some kind of paint or drawing them in a marker or just painting them on there with salt water, whatever you're doing, finding a protection sigil that is going to align with you and offer you whatever it is that you need will really help bring you peace of mind when you're in that space of trying to get some sleep. So, and also when we're warding, just like reward your thresholds and your windows and like maybe the property line by like walking around your property with a little canister of salt and just like making it happen. These are all the tangible things that we can do to create both a blend of like tangible safety, but also like energetic safety. Like these are all things that really resonate on the energy field as being highly protective on that energy field against other energies. I also have dream catchers hanging in everybody's room, but the really important note with this is that I got them from authentic sources. They were expensive and they were worth every single penny, and actually I would have paid more for them because they are made by the protocol and through the reverence and the magic of the indigenous culture for which they were created, you know, and by me purchasing them directly from indigenous people who are making them in the traditional way, I am supporting and respecting their origin. If you have a dream catcher that was just kind of like made by some random lady at a Renaissance fair or whatever, I don't know about its energy. Like the archetypal footprint called Dreamcatcher over in the astral plane, because I really feel that everything that exists has an archetypal footprint. That archetypal Dreamcatcher is side-eyeing anyone who is not really working with positive and authentic dream catchers. And if I was that dream catcher, I would make it so that those ones didn't work because I felt disrespected. So I just want you to like really think about the sources and where you're getting things from and what they're doing, because, you know, the universe operates on a binary scale. I mean, there's duality, there's justice, there's black and white. It would be totally up to the moral alignment of any archetypal energy to decide how it wants to roll and how it wants to play it out. If somebody's like straight up lifting its energy without, you know, authenticity behind it, like I know that would annoy me if I was an archetypal energy. So try to be really respectful of the magical tools that you're using. But I also have, like I said, dream catchers in my room. Plants can really also be protective, and you want to enchant or talk to your plants and ask them to bring you that energy as well. The other thing I want to say, though, for spiritually safe sleep is that I want you to bless yourself like every single evening. I want you to lay hands like on your own head or on your own heart space or whatever. And I want you to put yourself in a blessing space. Put yourself in a bubble of protected energy. Set the parameters for what's allowed to happen while you're sleeping. Set the rules, set the guidelines, tell the energy field what it's going to go ahead and do or not do. And this is when you can also be like, hey guides, like, I want to access the astral plane. I want to like remember my dreams. I want to be very present and real in the astral place or in my dream space or whatever it is. And like, I want to know all the things. And so you can set that tone, or you can be like, hey, I'm tired of having bad dreams, so my intention is to have only positive dreams right now. Or if you struggle with sleep, you can invite sleep in. You can ask your guides, please help me to sleep. I am open for sleeping. I am willing to sleep. I appreciate your support. But then the hard part for you in that one is going to be to not like overthink it, because most of the time we're having trouble sleeping because we can't quiet down our brains. And sometimes when we make a request or set an intention, it sends us down this like anxiety spiral of overthinking. And in that space, we kind of tend to sometimes sabotage ourselves and our goals because we start hyper focusing on like, what if it doesn't work? And then, what space are we manifesting from, right? So do your best with that one. But my whole purpose here is to like speak sacred words, sacred to you, into the, air around you, just kind of setting the tone and setting the energy and making it how you want it to be. Now, in the case of like, if you are struggling with your sleep and you're having nightmares, or you're having like sleep paralysis or getting visited by something paranormal that you really don't vibe with, I'm going to talk about a thing really quick. Any of these beings or entities that show up in your space when you're in the sleepy dream space or drifting off to sleep or have just recently fallen asleep, these are like energy vampires in a way. They are here because they are feeding off of you. First of all, like a lot of these things get drawn in because you are vibrating at like a higher level, like you are emanating a light, you are emanating a positive energy, you are like shining to them. That means that you're doing well. That means that like all this like effort you're putting into yourself and your self-work and leveling up and connecting to spirit, like that means it's working. But at the same time, it's kind of like, ew, like I don't want to have you guys notice me, right? And so that's why the warding of the house is helpful. You almost want to kind of cloak your house from view by like saying like nobody harmful can even see this house. And like you'll find out real quick who in your life is positive or not if you're trying to invite them over and they like suddenly get lost and can't find your house. That's a side note. But like these beings are drawn to you because they want to feed off of your energy. And just like how there are people in this world that really get energized and motivated and like deeply connected to like a vivacious feeling of being alive through fear, so are these energy creatures doing the same thing. They are like feasting on your energy and they are using it to refill themselves. And that is why they show up in your spaces, and that is why they attach to your energy, and that is why they paralyze you, because they're kind of just holding you down. They're kind of showing up with the most ominous, like effed up vibe ever. You can maybe see them in your mind's eye. You can feel their presence. You are suddenly locked up. It's because they're using their fear to hold you captive so they can feed on your energy. And what they do is they escalate and elevate your fear so high that it's a really powerful energy coming off of you. Imagine how you would feel as like an empath or an empathic person, even if you were around someone who was like terrified. That energy would be palpable. It would be almost touchable. Like you could really feel that energy in the space that you were in with that person. This is no different, except that they love to show up and make you terrified because it refills them. It re-energizes them. Like, have you ever been around someone who's like super mean and like they just say super mean things and they almost take like satisfaction in hurting you? They are the same thing as this. That is what I mean by energizing them. I don't mean that they have some like gas can that they're like plugging into your body and filling up with fear. What I mean is like it really fuels them. It gives these beings satisfaction, like a purpose, like a drive, a sense of control to terrify you and to just hold witness to and be standing in that energy of you being very afraid and terrified. Like imagine for a second, like think of a child that you really love or a person that you really love. Think about a time when they're having a really great time and they're like so super happy, like genuinely happy. Think of how it makes you feel to be around those people that you love when they're in a space of genuine happiness. What it should do is also make you feel happy. It should also make you feel energized. It should also make you be like, yes, this is so nice. Like everything's so good. I feel more alive because of this. Like a lot of us who love Christmas, we love Christmas for that reason, because we have an excuse and a reason to like give people things that will make them happy. And Christmas for me is like the funnest when I get to like give someone a gift and see how they feel about it or see how they react to it and if it went over how I had hoped it would. And that's us feeding off of positive energy. Positive energy plus positive energy equals more positive energy. But negative energy plus negative energy, it's just like creating more of itself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just digging this hole deeper. But you can see what I'm talking about, where it's like you can get energy bursts from being around a person in an extreme state of emotion one way or another. And that's what these like sleep paralysis demons are doing, or like maybe the ghosties that are kind of like waking you up, or whatever kind of, like I said, creepy weirdos. That's what I sort of call them, like the earthbound spirits and the cryptids that are around in the night especially. They're just like creepy weirdos, and they're here to kind of siphon off your energy. So the thing to do, if that's happening to you, if you are encountering any type of sleep paralysis demon or anything like that, is to try in the moment. You're going to want to slip into and succumb to this fear that you're feeling that's trying to overtake your body. And what I want you to do instead is to bear witness to your own fear, to notice that it's happening, and to be like, oh, not today, absolutely not. And your job in that situation is to get really still, really calm, and really neutral. What you're not going to do is give them what they want. You're not going to become terrified. Because here's the perspective shift that's actually true, okay? You are in charge of this situation way more than the scary thing is. You are way more in charge because you have the thing that they want. They want your fear. You're in charge of that. You don't want to give it to them. Because number one, if they find out that you're a viable source of like terrified energy, they're going to revisit you. But number two, like you're in charge, and it's gross and rude and obnoxious and presumptuous that they think that they can just show up, just regulate you, get a little burst of energy off of that and leave. Like that's not allowed. We don't let anything or anyone do that to us anymore, right? So because of that, we're going to be like, I command my own energy. I will not be afraid of you. I know that you want what I have, and I'm not going to give it to you because I don't like the principles that you stand on. Like, I don't vibe with you. You're negative and harmful. I am positive and uplifting and peaceful. Like, we're not doing this. There ain't nothing here for you, is what you're going to kind of say. And as hard as it might be, you're just going to not get terrified. You're going to try to stay in neutral. As you feel that fear like building in you, I just want you to like somehow figure out within yourself how to turn the volume down on it. So like you don't have to necessarily eliminate or like totally eradicate this fear that might be coming over you. I just want you to dull it, or like I said, turn the volume down. Like don't let it get so big. And the reason for this is because the bigger it is, the louder it is for them, the more they feed off of it. But the more you can do the opposite of that and simmer your energy way down and not emanate that bigness of that fear, the less interesting you will be to these beings, and the more inclined they will be to just leave you alone and go somewhere else, because that's really not what they're looking for. They're not trying to work really hard at this. They're not trying to come up against somebody who's able to like shoot them down. They just want to get their little like dopamine hit and like keep it moving. So I want you to practice with being like scared like this and not feeding it. You can come up with a prayer or an incantation that you say to yourself in these moments. You can be like, I am divinely protected on all levels and all planes. Or you can be like, I cast out anything that has intent to harm me, be gone, like something like that. Just repeat something to yourself over and over again, because mantras can be like a touch point for your sanity, quite honestly. Like the things we repeat to ourselves, it's doing something to our brain. It's opening up that pathway that feels more positive, and it's shifting us there. So do come up with a phrase or something you can say. Some people call upon Archangel Michael. Some people talk directly to God. Some people talk to their ancestors and are like, Grandma, please come help me. Please keep me safe from this sleep paralysis creature. Like, please intervene on my behalf. The phrase just help me in general, as it is directed to your guides, is such a powerful prayer. Like, you could even just say that. You could even just be like, I am safe and okay. I am safe and okay. Or like, don't feed the fear. Don't feed the fear. Don't feed the fear. Whatever you've got to do, come up with something you can say to yourself, whether it be a prayer or a blessing or a spell, a set of words that you used in spell casting, or just a positive mindset shift or a reminder that you're in charge. I'm in charge of this energy. Nothing that I don't want to have happen can happen. You know, blessed be and so to so. Whatever things you want to say, just like start trying to shift yourself out of that energy. And if you do all of these things, I really know that you will find that you have a much more safe experience energetically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically in your home at night. It's taking those extra steps. It's putting in the work for the details that will take you so far. And I'm about to release like a spiritually safe sleep kit on my website so that you can have the candles, the black tourmaline, the grid, like whatever things you need, salt, maybe a spray, all the components that you want or need to have in your space so you can set it up to be spiritually safe. And it'll come with a spell that you can write or say or perform as well on your own, so that all of that stuff gets anchored into the energy of you and the energy of your space in your home. And when you have success, I want you to thank your guides. And when you have success, I want you to thank your ancestors. When you have success, thank your angels, thank your higher self, thank your own damn self for doing the work. When you have success, thank your house. Lay your hands on your house and thank it for keeping you safe. And when you struggle, you can say, somebody please help me with this. I need such and such energy to get gone, like right now. You can request support and help from the universe, or you can try to figure out, well, what was the secret thing that didn't really work at this point, and how can I rework that thing to make it work better? All of these things will just so much enhance the sleeping situation that you're having. It should work really well to eradicate any negative beings or thoughts or creatures or vibes or bad dreams or whatever the case may be. Also, if you keep having dreams that make no sense to you, like, number one, I really truly want you to think about these things metaphorically. That's what dreams are. They're just total metaphors. It's all symbolic. It hardly ever means what it looks like it means. And one of the ways you can figure out what dreams mean is by asking yourself, like, what was the predominant feeling of the dream? Where else in my life do I feel that feeling predominantly? And like, how can I go ahead and sort of trace back the message from that root feeling or emotion to like figure out where and why and how like this message pertains to me in a different way, because that's what we're really trying to do with dream analysis. We're trying to understand the metaphor, the symbology, like what is it actually secretly like telling me? And we can do that by reading the energy of it and feeling the feelings of it. And you can ask your angels and your guides to help you remember your dreams more if you struggle with dream recall and you want to improve that. try to ask for some support with that. Ask them to like keep it on your memory until you can write it down. Everybody knows about dream journaling, so you just can go ahead and do that. But you can set the intention before you fall asleep. Like, as I sleep, I will remember all of my dreams. Or as I sleep, I will remember my dreams and they will show up when they're relevant, or whatever parameters that you want to put upon it. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to find me. You can make a post in the big group on Facebook. You can send me an email to headwitch@moonstonewitchery.com. You can do any number of things to get in touch with me if you have any questions, because I do love to talk about this. I have all this information saved in the big group in a pinned post called Spiritually Safe Sleep. So if you're on Facebook and you're in the big group, you want to go ahead and type Spiritually Safe Sleep into the search box, and all of this will come up so that you can kind of read through it. If you're more of a reader, read through it and let yourself know like what the reminders are and what the little points of interest are that you want to make sure you follow and that you do. Okay, cool. I'm going to let us be done for today. I have lots more fun topics to talk about. This season's like wrapping up soon, but that doesn't mean I'm going anywhere. Just I'll go one into the other. So as this season comes to a close in a couple of episodes, a new one will just begin again immediately. So don't worry about that. And if you want to find me anywhere, you know how to do so. Also, last thing I want to tell you, I have started a weekly astrology podcast, and it is giving weekly updates of the astrology for that week and what you can expect. It is called Sky Gossip with Rian, and if you type it in specifically to Spotify right now, because I think I'm still working on distribution to everywhere else, but specifically on Spotify right now, if you type it in, Sky Gossip with Rian, you will find it. I only have 2 episodes so far. It's my newest baby, but if you want to find out about the astrology for whatever week you're in, go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think. All right, everybody, I will see you next time, witches.